Hey guys, Jacob here. Um, Thank you for tuning in to this new video. Um, Today I will be showing some records that I picked up on Saturday. This past Saturday. Um, Purely by almost by accident, I ended up stumbling on a bunch of great records, and I can't wait to show it to you. First up, though, some people have been commenting on some of the recent videos that I've done. Mainly Steve Carlson, my good friend, saying that why don't you show any beers anymore? Are you have you quit enjoying beers? I have not. In the past, I don't know, 5 or 6 videos, I've just been enjoying either water or coffee or whatever. I thought that it might be time to show a new beer. This is from our local brewery here on the island of Møn in Denmark. Bryghuset Møn. This is called Pollerup Påskebryg. Yeah, try to say that if you're not a Danish speaking person. So Pollerup, the first word here, is actually one of the small, very small cities. No, it's not a city. Town? Not even a town. It's smaller than a town. One of the local towns in the area here where I live, and Påskebryg basically means Easter brew in Danish. So this is an Easter beer from the local brewery. So beer type wise, this is very close to what we will call the beer type that in Denmark is called a classic. So it's a lager type beer, maybe with a little bit of a little more malt. So it's a bit more. Yeah, it has a bit more caramelly, a little more sweetness to it, or caramel flavor, and a bit more sweetness to it. Still has the crisp lager pilsner hops, as this beer is intended for the Easter lunch celebrations that we all enjoy here in Denmark. So it's a good beer. It's not my favorite. The beer type classic. It's not my favorite at all. But it's a decent beer, and it's a local brew. So gotta support the local breweries. So anyway, on Saturday, I kind of had the day to myself. My wife had a 10-hour shift, but she of course had a lot of errands lined up for me to do while she was at work. And what happened is that I was actually in my car driving to a nearby town to. I had to buy a new refrigerator, and I had to buy some stuff for our for the animals that we have. I had to go buy some plants and some trees for the garden. I had to go pick out some presents, some birthday presents for upcoming birthdays that we have lined up. So I had a lot of stuff to do. And actually, in the town that we used to live in, that we just moved out or just moved away from, I think around twice a year maybe they have like this flea market in the local sports gym hall, whatever. It's a very small place. I think that there are around 20-25 sellers or something, and they sell everything. This is not a record fair or anything. It's just people just selling all of their junk from their houses, all the stuff that they don't want anymore, books that they don't want anymore, or toys or kids' clothing or whatever. And I usually visit this flea market whenever it takes place, and I almost never find anything. Maybe a couple of CDs I've bought at the previous flea markets, and I was actually in my car driving away from the island here, and I just saw the sign that just said, "Oh, we have this flea market beginning at 10," and it was like 8 minutes to 10. And I was in my car actually deliberating whether I should turn it around and just go and see. And I just sat there in my car for like 30 seconds, just going back and forth. Should I turn the car around? Eventually I did. I thought, well, even if there's nothing there, I will only waste like 10 minutes. So I went in there and started the tour, and I saw someone who sold some CDs that might be interesting, and just continued my tour around the hall there. And with the second to last cellar or something, I saw a crate on the floor with records in it. I thought, well, let's have a look. And right from the very first records I saw in there, I thought that this, there just might be something interesting in here. So I kept on looking, and eventually I picked out almost 30 albums, 30 records that I wanted to look at closer. Just to see the shape of the vinyl, the shape of the covers. I mean, these are they've been used, and they've been, I think that they've been stowed away in an attic, in an attic somewhere. Yeah, they had just not been seen the light of had not seen the light of day for a long time. But I had found some very interesting stuff. I'm just gonna show you in a short while. Throughout me, the entire time of me looking through these records, I had this guy standing right behind me, and he had no perception of personal space. He was right here. I even like squatted down on on the floor to get a better look, and he's just bent it over and just looked right over my shoulder. His head was right here. And a couple of times I was just, looking back just to sort of, give him a hint that, dude, you're really close to me. If you wouldn't mind, just to back off, just, like half a meter or something. He didn't really understand. So by the time that I picked out like 20 records, he said to me, are you going to buy all of those records? I said, I don't know. If you, I'm not done looking, and I don't know yet what I'm going to buy. So I finished up, and I had around 30 records. He asked me again, are you going to buy all those? It's like, dude, I don't know yet. I mean, give me some time. I got here first. Give me some time and some space to go through these records. Probably a couple of them will go back into the crate, but, all of these look really interesting. So by the time I was done, he went through the crate, picked out 4 albums or whatever. These were all less than $1 each. These were like 5 Danish kroner, which is, I don't know, 80 dollar cents or something. So I was looking through the records that I bought. I take out every single album, look at it. Are there any scratches? Is it dirty? Is this worth buying? Can I save this? With the records that were dirty, can I do something to make this right, and make this record playable? And still, this guy was right here, like right here. And then he asked me, "Are you going to look at all of them?" I said, "Of course I'm going to look at all of them. I mean, what are you thinking? Of course I'm going to look at all of them. I have to decide what I'm going to buy here. Jesus." So he took a tour around the hall there and came back to me. I still wasn't done. I had like 30 records picked out. If I'm spending 30 seconds per record, it's still going to be 15 minutes before I'm done here. Eventually, I put like 4 or 5 records back into the crate, and he was instantly on them, and just picked out, I think, 2 of them and bought them as well. And by the time I was done, he was still right here. And I said to the lady selling, I want to buy these records. I think there were 24 records. I want to buy these. And he just looked all sad. But that guy, he really had no sense of personal space. So that was, purely by coincidence almost, and just straight up lucky. I went there. I hadn't really thought about going this time around. I went there and I got a lot of good stuff. I'm going to show you in just a short while. Okay, so I got the stack of records right here, and let's have a look at them. I have my, as I'm getting, becoming an old fart, I have my reading glasses up here in my bald spot, trying to cover this mess up. But also, if I need to read something with very small writing, I've reached the age where I need reading glasses. Roy Harper. Most of these, well, yeah, I'd say half of these maybe are what I would call blind buys. Once again, shout out to Steve Carlson, who is the master of blind buying. Like I said, all of these were less than $1. So I just figured that, if the record looks okay and the cover isn't like torn to pieces, I'm gonna give it a shot. And if there's no possible way to rescue the record, or if there's no way that this will ever be playable in any way, well then I'll just throw it out, whatever. Roy Harper is, I think, a British artist who plays folk rock. I'm gonna be careful where I put my fingers here. This album is called Flashes from the Archives of Oblivion. This is a live recording, double live recording. I don't know much about Roy Harper. He is apparently a funny man, because on the back side of the cover here, the gatefold, is a picture of him with his top off, just like the front cover here, what it says, "It may be February, but it's always August under your arms." I don't know, that seems like a dad joke. And yeah, I don't know what to say about that, really. But Roy Harper and Flashes from the Archives of Oblivion, picked this up. These first ones are just a mixed bunch, and then I've kind of sorted them into genres. Next up, this cover has seen better days. This is Cat Stevens. I think this is my first ever Cat Stevens record. This is Buddha and the Chocolate Box. I don't know much about Cat Stevens. I know that there are some big Cat Stevens fans out there. I know, some of the hits. But yeah, I'm looking forward to. I mean, this is before I was born, so I would think, even though I am an old fuck by now. But when was this released? Doesn't say here. Anyways, yeah, just pick this up because I'm gonna give it a go. Cover is beat as hell, but yeah, why not? It was cheap, so why not? Picked up this record here from Justin Hayward and John Lodge. This is called Blue Jays. Also a gatefold. So this is more classic rock. Maybe with a little blues inspiration. I don't know. Any Justin Hayward fans out there? I'm sure that there are. Or John Lodge. With any of these records, almost. If you know them, if you have something to say about it, do you love it? Do you hate it? Let me know in the comments below what you feel about these ones. This cover looks really good, considering that it was, I think, for many years stuck in a box in an attic somewhere. This is from 1975. Yeah, excited about that one. Also, this one, which I've seen some people show on Facebook and also in the BC. This is Mad River with the album called Paradise Bar and Grill. Also some classic rock, blues rock, I think. And some of these I'm gonna put on my old fart glasses now. Some of these are like first press US, which is really cool. They're all dusty, they're all dirty. I'm just holding it beneath my face. Makes me wanna what's it called? Cough a little, or makes me cough a little, rather. And yeah, this is but still, I think this is a pretty cool haul here. This is on the Green Capital label here. I think this is not an original pressing. This is a reissue. I think maybe the third or fourth pressing or whatever. But yeah, I'm excited to listen to that one as well. Moving on, next one, Jefferson Starship, and the album called Spitfire. So this is obviously after they were Jefferson Airplane. This is from the mid-70s, 76 US pressing as well. I think this, as far as I looked up on Discogs, is a first press. So I'm excited about that one. I'm just gonna keep my glasses here. You've already seen me wear these now. So Don McLean, American Pie. I can't say that I know any other songs by Don McLean than American Pie, but I will have the chance to now. A couple of soul and funk records coming up now. This is the band called MFSB with the album Universal Love, 1975, out on Columbia. Distributed by Columbia and Epic, released on Philadelphia International Records. Beautiful gatefold here with the sky. This, again, I don't know much about this band. It's apparently soul, disco, funk thing. That's the label right here. So yeah, that's the interesting thing about blind buying, as you don't know the artist that well. I mean, I've heard of MFSB, but as I don't know the music, you know, I'm really not sure what's in store. Same goes for this one, which is by the band called Riot, and the album is Welcome to the World of Riot. Once again, this is supposedly a disco funk album. This is out on Motown. Has a cut here. What's it called? Yeah, a cut. Yeah. There's a guy here who plays timbales, timpanis, bells, clave, talking drum, assorted percussive instruments, and vocal. So I guess that's the singer, or no, that's not the singer. There's a lot of percussion on here, and trumpets and flugelhorns and whatever. So sounds like an interesting record. Can't wait to listen to that one. I picked up this one from Sly and the Family Stone, Back on the Right Track, released in 1979. Look at Sly looking all fly there. Yeah. This is still in shrink wrap, by the way. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, picked up that one. A record by a Swedish band here, Hula Bandula Band. This is called Fri Information, as it's called in Swedish, or Free Information. They were a Swedish folk rock band. Had some of the most prominent Swedish musicians and songwriters from the 70s and 80s, Mikael Wiehe and Björn Afzelius. So one Björn and one Michael. Not everyone in Sweden is called Björn, apparently. Yeah, Hula Bandula Band. Once again, this was so cheap that it would be stupid not to pick it up. And then this one from Peter Tosh called Equal Rights. Features, among others, what I can only assume is a cover of Get Up, Stand Up. Yeah, I love me some reggae, and I love Peter Tosh, so that's really cool. So I think that's about half of the records, and then I have the rest here. So all of these are in the prog or psych genre, and some of these are pretty darn cool. So for my friend Bill, Vinylverse, Genesis, Foxtrot. Cover is beat as hell, and has had water damage and everything. Record looks okay. Actually looks, well, it is a little dirty. I'm going to have to clean all of these albums here, but I don't mind. That's okay. Got them cheap, and like I said, I've said so many times now, if it plays, it plays, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. So yeah, excited about that one. Two records now from a band called UK. A band that I've only heard about. I've never heard any of their music. Once again, a prog band from the UK, and they're called UK. This is their first album, also called UK, from 1970 something, mid-70s I would think. And the second album from the same band, There's this one called Danger Money. This is from '79. Once again, if you know any of these records here, let me know what you think. Do I have something to look forward to, or should I just throw these in the bin? Let me know. New artist, but also 2 albums here. I've heard about this band before. This cover is just amazing. This is a band called Curved Air, and their debut album called Air Conditioning. This looks so awesome. From 1970, prog rock as well. This should be. Yeah, this is so cool. Finding this is a real treat. The same goes for the next one, also from Curved Air. This is called Phantasmagoria, their 3rd album from, well, some years later than the first one, I would think. This is a German pressing. So excited about that one as well. I'm just going through these very quickly because I don't want this video to be a day long. This cover here looks, well, apart from some wear on the back, looks pretty freaking awesome. This is from a band called Cactus, and the album is Restrictions, 1971. US pressing on Atco. Features Carmine Apice on drums, among others. So that's pretty darn cool. Carmine Apice, or Carmine, sorry. Was also in the band called there's a record coming up later. Vanilla Fudge. Yeah, I have a Vanilla Fudge record in here as well. So that's pretty awesome. And then a band that everyone loves and that I don't really know much about, except some 80s songs, which according to everyone is not, by far not their best period. But this is Yes, and the album called Fragile. I don't know much about Yes, I have to admit. Another hole in my music knowledge, another flaw. Yeah, pick this up as well. As you can see, it's rock music. So yeah, excited about that one. This one I've seen a couple of times in the wild and never pulled the trigger on it. This band name just looks so cool in that font. Titanic, and an album called Titanic, also prog psych rock, I believe. This is just the coolest gatefold ever. I mean, come on, look at these guys here. That is awesome. Out on CBS. Really chuffed about that one. Also about the next one. Another psych prog Renaissance, and their first album, I believe. Also called Renaissance, from 1970 something. This is all 70s prog. Really cool. Really chuffed about that one as well. And now we're getting to the, well, we've been at the exciting stuff for a while now. This, ladies and gentlemen, is my very first ever King Crimson record. This is their album called Lizard. Would you believe it that I don't own In the Court of the Crimson King? And please don't shoot me, but I've actually never heard that album either. I've never listened to a single King Crimson album, or even song, I don't think. Am I allowed to be in the VC now that I just admitted that? I'm not sure. But this is the album called Lizard. And this is just awesome. And the record looks, if I remember correctly, pretty darn cool and pretty darn good condition. It has a little bit of smudge that I need to clean. This was a an album that you could borrow or lend from the local library back in the 70s. Somehow all of these ended up with some guy, who I guess passed away. I think I got the story from the seller, and they were just selling his records because they didn't want to store them anymore. which makes me pretty darn happy. Well, not, you know, it's sad that the guy died, but for me to have the opportunity to buy these records here at that price, less than $1 a piece, is pretty cool. This is David Stoughton. This is Transformer. This cover looks absolutely amazing. This is apparently some psych folk rock. This is a US pressing on Elektra. It's apparently a first press even. Has this really cool Elektra inner sleeve here, and yeah. If I'm excited about the other ones, I really don't know what to say about this one. That is just pretty darn cool. What a find here. 2 more items to go here, and I'm really showing all the good stuff here now, and then I have some other stuff to show you which is not as cool, but yeah, I'm gonna start off slow, reach a high in the middle of the video, and then it all goes downhill from there. But David Stoughton, Transformer, Vanilla Fudge Mystery, a 1984 release from Vanilla Fudge. I actually didn't know that they still existed in the 80s, to be honest with you. And here is Carmine Appice once more. Appice? Let me know. Yeah, I have some of the late 60s albums from Vanilla Fudge. Really love them, and I'm not sure what to expect from this one, but I'm excited about owning it. And then the last one, which is the Pièce de la Résistance. Another band that I didn't know and that I still don't know. I have not listened to this yet. This is by a band called Gracious, and that's the cover right here. Main reason why this looked exciting is because of this Vertigo label here, because it's the Vertigo swirl, and I was sure that the record would also have a Vertigo swirl, and the record sadly was not in the original Vertigo swirl inner. I've just placed it into an extra inner that I have, but the album, as you can see, does have this Vertigo swirl here, and I'll show you the other side. So this is a UK band called Gracious. This is an original UK first press, and the value of this one on Discogs is through the freaking roof. Items in a lot worse condition than this one. I mean, the cover does not have any splits or anything. Obviously, when you have a cover like this that is white, it's really hard to keep white. So it has a lot of, you know, discoloring. Is that what it's called? So it's you know, starting to get yellow here and all the way around the back side and the spine here. It has gone a bit yellow. The inside of the gatefold looks absolutely stunning, just as it just came out of the facility where it was printed. The record looks really good. Has a lot of, not a lot, but has a little bit of smudge and dirt that I need to clean off. But the value for this record here, records in worse shape than this one go for $150, if not more. Based on the condition of the copies of this album on sale on Discogs, I would say that this is maybe a $200 item, and I got it for less than $1. So yeah, really chuffed about that one. Once again, prog rock from 1970. That's the last of that bunch here. I also picked up some CDs while I was there. Agnes Obel, Danish female singer, really awesome. If you like really soft singer-songwriter music with some electronic beats and a lot of classical influence, Agnes Obel, or Agnes Obel. This is her second album called Aventine. This is an amazing record here. Picked up All J, their first album, An Awesome Wave, on CD in this special edition where it opens up almost like an alligator or something. And there's an extra DVD here with a live concert. That's a pretty cool feature here. Talk Talk, Color of Spring on CD, and then also a collection from a Danish 70s band called Gasoline. A collection of greatest hits on one CD, and then the greatest live hits on a second CD. But those Prog records, those albums that I just showed you were, and to think that I almost didn't go, it's just amazing. After that experience, I kind of thought, well, let me go to every, if that's my kind of lucky day today, well, let me just go to every other store where I know that they have records to see if I can find something. And I went to the local Red Cross to see if they had any records there. Also, these ones were 5 Danish kroner, less than $1. Picked up Yasu, You and Me Both, obviously with Vince Clarke from prior to Yasu, Depeche Mode, and then after Yasu, Erasure. This is not as exciting as the ones that I showed earlier, but I'm just going to show you anyway. Yasu, Toto's Fahrenheit album with I'll Be Over You, and some other hits on this one. I like Toto. This is really interesting. This is Tabule by Babeti Sokus. I think that's the album title, and then Tabule is the artist. Anyway, this is a release on Peter Gabriel's Real World Recordings. This is African music. I'm very, very big fan of African music, and can't wait to listen to this. This is unplayed, like unplayed. So that's pretty awesome. And then finally, a couple of Kool and the Gang records. In the Heart from 1980, Glasses On, 1983. And also the album called Emergency from 1984. And then a best of released in also 1983. This one has both Ladies Night, Celebration, Get Down on It, Good Time Tonight. So that's a pretty cool find. And then finally I got this from a colleague of mine. I saw that he had some records for sale, and picked up Quincy Jones. The Dude features I No Corrida, which is an amazing funk soul song. So that's it, guys. Let me just get my beer. I'm all I have like a dry mouth from talking all that time here. So some pretty interesting prog, psych, folk, classic rock finds there. Once again, if you know any of these albums, let me know what I have in store. I think that I did pretty good. I'm really excited about that one. And yeah, Record Store Day coming up. Funds are limited, to say the least, this time around. I'm gonna see if I can swing that somehow and free up some cash, because there are some titles that I definitely need. And yeah, gonna give it a go. So guys, cheers. That's it from Denmark for now. So stay safe, guys. Bye bye. Oh, by the way, links below. Follow me on Facebook, MOE and Rock. Follow me on Instagram, MOE and Rock, to see what I'm spinning on, not daily basis, but at least a couple of records a week I get to listen to. So follow me there, support me if you want to, like and subscribe. Shout out to anyone, shout out my name to anyone. Yeah, thanks, bye.